Hello, my name is Jen Krafchick, and I'm a professor in Human Development and Family Studies and one of the co-directors of Campus Connections. This informational video will provide you with a really good overview of what Campus Connections is all about and explain the application process. Campus Connections is a class that's different than any other classes that you're going to take at CSU. It's an experiential education class, so you're working directly with young people ages 10 to 18 from the community, and you're making a really significant impact on their lives. You're also making a big impact on your life because you're getting really good professional experience. You're learning how to be a mentor. You're learning about working with adolescents, and you're developing some really important relationships with other CSU students as well. So the benefit to CSU students who serve as mentors are that you are earning upper division credits. You're developing really valuable leadership skills that you can continue to demonstrate in Campus Connections if you decide to come back and participate in our leadership track, where you can eventually earn a certificate in youth mentoring with 9 credits, which is typically about 3 semesters. You also have the opportunity to participate in research that really helps us to better understand the impact of mentoring on both mentors and mentees. So Campus Connections is a licensed mentoring program. So not only do we operate at CSU, which is our original site and where we developed the program, but we are now a licensed site that operates on 4 other campuses, including the University of Northern Colorado in Greeley, University of Colorado at Colorado Springs, CSU Pueblo, and our international site at the University of Auckland in New Zealand. So back in 2009, at the height of the financial recession, a lot of services for youth were being cut. And there were so few services that the local district attorney and magistrate for juvenile court asked the community to step up and to respond to that need because there just wasn't enough services. So in Human Development and Family Studies, we designed a program that became Campus Connections. So since then, we have served almost 3,000 youth, and over 3,600 students have been involved in Campus Connections. We now work really closely with hundreds of professionals in the local schools, the juvenile justice system, and human services, and directly with families to meet the needs of our community. So Campus Connections has been recognized both locally on the CSU campus, regionally, and on national levels by winning a number of different awards for our community engagement and work with youth. So for CSU students, Campus Connections is a 3-credit service learning class where you meet one evening a week for a 3:30 to 9:30 time frame. You will have the opportunity to also be involved in a learning community, to stay involved in Campus Connections for multiple semesters and begin to take on leadership opportunities if that's something that you want to do, or you can just participate for one semester as a mentor. Lots of different options. It's also a great way to make friends at CSU. The relationships that the students make with one another tend to become some of the most meaningful friendships of students' experiences at CSU. And most importantly, it's an opportunity to be a role model for a young person aged 10 to 18 who has experienced adversity. All of our mentors are paired up one-on-one with the youth to be involved throughout the whole semester. We have about 30 pairs on each of our nights. So we run on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, and students can sign up for one night, which is one section. The way that we organize our night is that each mentor is in a pair, and there's about 4 pairs that come together to be part of a mentor family. Each mentor family has a mentor coach. That's kind of a TA level position. That's our leadership track position where students as mentor coaches really support the mentors. And then we have one lead mentor coach who is the senior undergraduate position on our night, and they really help to make sure everything runs smoothly. We also have therapy that is integrated throughout the program, and the therapy is conducted by our graduate students in our marriage and family therapy program. And then myself and the other faculty and staff at Campus Connections supervise the program and ensure that everything is going as it should. So Campus Connections is a 3 credit class. So you would meet one evening a week from 3:30 to 9:30. So this is an overview of what the schedule looks like, and we'll unpack that in the next couple slides. But I just want to really highlight that the therapy is integrated throughout the night. So while the youth are participating directly with their mentors, that as issues come up, the therapist can check in and meet with the mentee to address whatever other issues might be going on that would be potentially more serious or of a more clinical nature that is appropriate for a therapist to address, not an undergraduate mentor. So that integration of therapy is really important and a key part of Campus Connections. So 3:30 to 4:30 is our pre-lab, and that's the class part of Campus Connections, where we talk about the readings. You'll learn valuable skills that will be directly applicable to your mentoring. We brainstorm and strategize any thing that we need to address to prepare for the night. And then the youth arrive at 4:30. And for the first half hour, pairs in their within their mentor families will go on a walk and talk. So that's where the pairs will explore campus, learn about higher education, and just catch up on the week. Then everyone returns back to the Campus Connections rooms, which are in the Gifford building. And we have an hour dedicated to supporting their academic success. So our youth are between 10 and 18. So youth may be in 5th grade all the way up through middle school and high school. So the supporting school success is really individualized. So it might look like tutoring. It might look like taking different type of academic or personality related assessments, or looking for a job or anything else that really supports their professional development or academic success. And then from 6 to 6:30, we have family style dinners at Campus Connections, where we have some really neat rituals where we talk about highs and lows for the week, model positive social interactions, and make sure that the kids are getting a healthy dinner. We work really closely with the food bank of Larimer County, and they deliver hot meals to Campus Connections every week. The meals for the youth are free, and for the students, it's a very minimal cost of $6.25 a week, which is paid upfront directly to the food bank for $75, and that covers the whole semester of dinners. So after dinner, our mentors lead pro-social activities, and there's 2 sessions, one from 6:30 to 7:30, and then a second activity from 7:30 to 8:30. So mentors will lead those activities 2 times during the semester, and we rotate that through. So during the weeks that you're not leading an activity, you'll just participate in other activities with your mentor. Those are really fun and engaging and include things like doing tie-dye, different types of sports, games, arts and crafts, outdoor education, and social justice activities from our social justice curriculum. The youth depart at 8:30, and then we have a half hour of post lab where we debrief how the night went, what things went well. A lot of gratitude is expressed to one another, and then we try to really efficiently clean up after the whole evening, and everyone does a little bit of that so we can get out as quickly as possible. So that's a quick overview of what Campus Connections looks like. So what we want from our mentors is someone like you who really wants to be involved. So we work with students who are mentors at any level, so freshmen all the way up through seniors. You can be any major. We do want students who are solid students. We have a preference for students who have a 3.0 or above, but honestly, we really do end end up accepting a lot of students with GPAs in the C range, as long as you are doing well and not on academic probation. Because students are serving as role models, we also are required to do background checks and fingerprints of our student, and I'll talk more about that in a minute. We also engaged and connected with your mentee. So the youth in Campus Connections are between 10 and 18 years old and are at risk in some way of not meeting their full potential. Many have experienced tremendous adversity, different types of trauma, involvement in the juvenile justice system. Many need support academically because they're really struggling. Some need help with social skills. Some are living in poverty. Some are struggling with emotional or behavioral issues. The gamut is very wide for why youth might be referred to Campus Connections, but they are all being referred because they could really benefit from a mentor like you. So not only is Campus Connections a class and a community outreach program, but we're also a research program. And our research has shown that there are really positive outcomes for all of our participants. So the youth who participate in Campus Connections report higher levels of school attendance, decreased substance use, fewer problems behaviorally at home and at school, and enhanced emotional well-being. And that kind of shakes out to three main variables. Number one, they report feeling less lonely after spending time with their mentor. They report feeling like they matter more, and they report feeling happier, all from spending the semester with their mentors. We also have really good outcomes for our mentors. So we did a study with the CSU Institutional Research Office and found that students who are involved in Campus Connections end up having higher persistence and graduation rates. So that means they don't drop out of CSU. They have higher GPAs and they graduate faster, which means they're saving money and paying less tuition. We also have really great outcomes for our graduate students who are the therapists, learning about doing therapy in alternative settings like schools or residential treatment facilities. They're getting clinical hours towards their degree that they have to get in order to finish their graduate studies, and they're developing really important professional skills. So students who serve as mentors in Campus Connections can register for HDFS 470A. If they want to come back in a second semester and serve as a mentor coach, then they would register for HDFS 470B, which is our mentor coach section. We also have a lot of students from the psychology department who use Campus Connections as their psychology internship, and they would register for Psychology 488, and you would get your paperwork from your academic advisor in psychology. I would sign off on that, and then you could register. But you would still be manually added to our Canvas shell. So you'd still be in Campus Connections just like everyone else. You would just be registered for a different course code that would count for your internship. So that's a pretty neat option for our psychology students as well. So each of our students are assigned a mentor, a mentee, and then you would meet with them throughout the semester. So the majority of the coursework associated with Campus Connections is done in lab. So you're mentoring, a lot of the work with your mentee that goes towards points, your participation in the research, all of that is done in lab. There are some assignments that are outside of lab. You have to do some readings each week, so you are an informed mentor. You have to write a letter to your mentee at the beginning and the end of the semester. You also have a weekly journal that you submit and some other professional documentation following lab, and then some other things that you will submit at the end of the semester that we actually give to the mentee. So for the fall 2022 semester, our priority application deadline is April 8th at 5 p.m. But if you are not able to get your application in by April 8th and you still want to participate, please still apply. We'll continue to accept applications as space permits. Once you submit your application, then you will be given instructions about completing the background checks, and then you'll also be asked to observe juvenile court before the youth start participating. So speaking of background checks, if there is anything at all that you are concerned about showing up on your criminal background check, please reach out to me before you submit it. It's a very individualized conversation. So those are only things that are criminal charges that would be on your background check. If you've got a speeding ticket or a ticket because you had a brake light out or something like that, those aren't things that we're worried about, but any type of criminal charges, we would want to have a conversation before you submit your background check. Um, and once background checks are submitted, those payments are not refundable. So it's important that we do have those conversations before you submit it. And also, if any charges do come up during the semester that you're mentoring, then students are required to disclose those during the semester. So for a lot of students who are either on Colorado Asset or on DACA, when they hear background checks, that can be something that is really scary. But I want to reassure everyone that we welcome all students to participate in Campus Connections, regardless of citizenship status. And we know that having diverse mentors absolutely enriches the experience for our youth and the other students as well. So we really encourage you to apply. We've had lots of students serve as mentors who are on Colorado Asset, DACA, or don't have documentation, and there have not been any problems that have arisen for them. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. If I don't know the answer, I will work with our liaisons at the two different organizations that process our background checks to make sure you feel comfortable before you submit anything. So the first 3 weeks of the semester are mentor training. And then the fourth week of the semester is when the youth start participating. So the first 2 weeks of the fall semester, the training is on your regular lab night, Monday, Tuesday, or Thursday. And then the third week, so that's the week of Labor Day, we don't have training on your regular lab night because there's no school on Monday for Labor Day, but we invite everyone, well, actually, we require everyone to attend a mandatory training, which will be on Friday, September 9th in the fall of 2022. And that is instead of your other lab night. And we bring in our community partners, and we do a lot of content related to mentoring that everyone on all the nights needs to know. So before you submit your application, I want to stress that Campus Connections has a mandatory attendance policy. So because the youth are coming to spend time with their mentor, it is absolutely essential that the mentors are in attendance. It's not a class like a big lecture hall class where the professor may or may not know if you're there. Campus Connections needs you to be there because the youth need you to be there, and that's why we are all there. So the only permitted absences is if someone is seriously ill, or if you have COVID symptoms and need to quarantine, or if you have a university sanctioned event with documentation like sports, or if you are experiencing a significant emergency or extenuating circumstance and you have documentation from student case management. It does not include events related to fraternity and sorority life or family vacations. So again, the application priority due date is April 8th. But if you decide after that and you're listening to this video after April 8th, and the application is still up, we are likely still accepting applications. So please still submit it and just email us if you have any questions. So once you submit your application and are accepted, you'll receive a email that has all the next steps. Before you accept that invitation, please make sure that you really consider everything that you might have on your plate for the next semester. Because when we have students who drop at the last minute or don't register, it has really significant implications both for the Campus Connections program and the mentee that you've been assigned. So really important that before you say, yes, I'm committing, that you really are able to make that commitment. So the way that mentors and mentees are paired up is that you will complete a mentor profile that's part of your application, and the mentees will be able to look through those and then pick the mentor who has a lot of similar interests to them. And that really aligns with the research that indicates that pairs that have similar interests are able to form very strong relationships. So the other document in your application is the request to register form. So this form is how we get you registered for the course because it's a class that requires an override. So make sure you fill out this form. The It's a key part of the application. The cumulative GPA and the number of credits completed is as of the last semester that you were in school, which is that you completed the semester. That would probably be fall 21. And then you don't have to do anything with the plan of study. You just sign here and then submit with your application. So that's the overview of Campus Connections. We are really excited to have you involved with the program and really hope that you'll apply. Please reach out if you have any questions. Our recruitment team is happy to answer any questions that you have. So thank you very much for listening, and we hope you'll submit your application now.